Hi, welcome back to Talk Nerdy to Me, an entrepreneur's financial guide. I'm Michelle Delker, founder and CEO of the William Stanley Group. And today with me, I have dun. Are you Erica DuPont, founder of Pro Therapy Plus?
That's me.
Oh my God, the one and only.
The one and only.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I love talking to you. This is so special.
Oh, it's an honor and a privilege to have you here. So the people are probably saying Pro Therapy Plus, what the what? Mm-hmm. So could you don't have to give an intro of the firm just yet, but could you introduce yourself, who the Erica DuPont is and all of those things?
I started Pro Therapy Plus about 20 years ago. I knew I wanted it to be something special. It took time to evolve into what I wanted it to be. I'm a therapist. I'm an LCSW, a licensed clinical social worker. And when I started first practicing, I started working with children, actually, who had been through a lot of trauma.
Okay.
And children with special needs.
Yes.
And I knew that when I opened up my practice, I wanted it to be something special that still included children, but I also knew I wanted to expand to more.
Yeah.
And so it was my goal to bring on a diverse group of people that were going to be able to offer all kinds of fantastic services to people who could really come to Pro Therapy Plus as a one-stop shop.
I love it. I absolutely love that. And just personally about you for a minute, you grew up here, didn't you? You graduated from high school here?
I graduated from Gaither High School. Go Cowboys.
Oh my gosh, not from Gaither.
Gaither.
Hey, you married your high school sweetheart.
I did, yes.
Did you go for college? You went to UF?
I went to UF.
Okay, for undergrad and graduate?
Yes. Well, not for graduate. So I went to undergrad at UF for my psychology degree, and then I got my master's in social work at USF.
Oh my goodness. And then you must have been just a baby when you started building your practice.
I didn't stop, right?
Okay.
So I think I got engaged and graduated the same within 2 weeks, and then started working and then started the practice. There was no stopping in between for me.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I was a baby.
Yes, sure. And still have that beautiful baby face.
Oh.
I don't know if our 17 YouTube viewers have noticed, but my hair, I have a dirty curl in today because I knew that you were going to come in so glam. Your hair always looks fantastic, and I usually look homeless.
Stop it.
So I was doing, I do. I was doing my best to try to be presentable, but the dirty curl did not work out.
I see it, and it looks stunning.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. So you talked about Pro Therapy Plus and really focusing on children in the beginning with special needs. And then the business has grown and evolved over the years.
Yes, it really has.
Yes. And I want to say it was several years ago. I say grown and evolved because this is a big change in segmentation and services that you offer. You stepped into like business and life coaching as well.
I did. Yeah. So I knew I wanted to work with kids, but I knew that wasn't the only population that I wanted to work with. So I started working with teens, then I started working with young adults, then I started working with adults who were professionals and looking to elevate themselves in their careers, and that became a real passion of mine.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I imagine there have to be some parallels though,
sure.
Honestly, right?
100%. There's always, absolutely. And what I would find is that most of the therapy that I was doing was really also quite a bit of coaching. And there's such an overlap. There really is an overlap. So I wanted to integrate that to make it the best possible experience for these professionals.
So I was born in 79. I'll be 46 later this year, just a couple of months, right?
37.
My daughter said to me recently, she said, "Okay, boomer." And I said, "Reagan." First of all, no, that's highly disrespectful. Second of all, mama is Gen X. Get
Gen
it right.
X. Gen X.
But I grew up in a time where I would say there was a lot of stigma that surrounded things like therapy. Coaching wasn't even a discussion at that point.
Sure.
And as I've grown and evolved through my leadership journey, what I've learned is like my job is my brain, right? Mm-hmm. And if I was a golfer, I think about all the coaching that the golfers get. They've got their caddy that's by their side always. Some of them have a swing coach and a putt coach, and it's celebrated and revered. And you're this guy or that guy if you can get those really wonderful coaches. And when I think about you and what your business does, you're a caddy all day long, right? Like you can pull in specialty folks for that putt or for that swing or for other particular parts that you want to improve. But for me, your firm offers that all-encompassing full-bodied experience, which is important because we all show up with different biases, right? We all have had experiences that have shaped us into who we are. And I just think it's magical when you find the right partner and they understand who you are. But I'm excited because I've seen over the last several years there be a change in sort of how we look at certain things, especially with generations that are coming up next to or behind me. Things like coaching, things like therapy, they're celebrated and embraced. And it's not sad like, I'm doing something wrong or, I have to hide this.
There's something wrong with me, right? Like that's the immediate implication. You go to therapy, there's something wrong with you. Yes. You're going to coaching, you're elevating yourself.
Yes.
There's a difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
And did you recognize that?
Immediately.
Okay.
Immediately. Particularly with professionals that came in. I mean, they would almost try to justify why they were there, right? It's like, there's nothing really wrong with me. I just need some help with this, right? I'm like, you seem like a totally normal person to me. I completely get that. So you mentioned finding the right person, and that truly is key. I can't tell you how many people have come and said, I've tried so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so, and they don't really get me. They don't understand me. And that is the most important piece when it comes to coaching and therapy as well, is making sure you find someone that you truly connect with and really understands you as a person. There's no agenda. I have no agenda other than to help just be your cheerleader and raise you up.
I would say accountability too.
Sure.
It's not all hype girl.
Sure.
I mean, I have seen some discerning looks from you before. Chica. No, right? And I think that's equally important as well because we can all pay someone to hype us up.
Yes.
I think you hype when it's needed. And then I think also sometimes it's okay. Now, what could we have done differently?
But you won't take that well from me if you don't trust me first, right? So it's that relationship that I have to build with you, and then I can give you the look.
I agree completely. And I love that you said that because for me, I beat that drum all day long. I want to talk about you, not me, but I will say...
Talk about you.
The technical expertise, should be a given. It's the chemistry. It's the personality. When you're talking about things that are deeply personal,
yes,
that's where the connection has to be because without that trust... I mean, have you ever had that situation where someone comes in, they're really guarded and they're not... Makes it a lot more difficult, right?
Sure. I mean, you spend a significant more time trying to really let that person know I'm someone you can trust. It is not my job to go back to your boss and tell them everything that you just told me. That would be completely counterproductive of this session, right?
And unethical.
And unethical.
Yes.
And unethical. Right. So know that I am here for you. This hour that we're spending together is your hour. Again, I have no agenda. I'm just here for you, and I want to help you be the best that you can be. But until they get to a point where they really feel like they can trust me and they know that I really am on their side, it can take some time.
What does it take for the average person?
Well,
she said that wasn't in the list of questions that you sent over.
I would say I think I connect pretty well with people, and I think I do a pretty good job in the beginning of the session really trying to let people's defenses come down. I would say the longest it's taken would be 3 to 4 sessions where somebody feels like, can I really trust her? And they kind of, tip their toe in and just dip their toe and say, what if I tell her this? What's her reaction going to be? Is she going to judge me? Is she going to think I'm unprofessional? If I say the word shit or and I say, girl, say it, because we are all human.
Yes.
And once they see that I am also human and not judging them, that's when those defenses come down and I can really get to know them as a person. And then I can help them be the best professional they can be.
I absolutely love that. I did not know that coaches said shit or That's a shock.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm teasing. I love it. So this is not for children, this episode.
Okay, good.
Not for children. They're not tuning into an entrepreneur's financial guide. Susie with her lemonade stand will have to wait. Yes. So was there anything that surprised you about adding coaching to your work compared to therapy?
It really did. I mean, the acceptance, just like you had said, right? It wasn't this hesitation. People were coming in more enthusiastically. They were looking for that help that they didn't see as being necessarily like I said, something wrong with them or a deficit. And so what a difference when somebody walks in the room and they're there thinking, you're here to help me truly grow, versus there's something wrong with me and you need to fix me. And fixing me is not my job. I don't go to Home Depot and get a tool, right? Like, that's not what I do. I am here to just help you be the best that you can be. And yes, there is a shift. There is a difference just in the terminology between coaching and therapy. But when you break it down, it's really not all that different.
Right. I agree with you completely. I want to say one of my dear friend's husband, he's a successful superintendent in the construction business, and he's on the come up through the executive program, and he had a couple of different coaches.
Yes.
Didn't have a good connection with the couple, found maybe the third one, and I think he said, this guy's taken the time to get to know me, to know what's going on with my family. And it was funny because it was like, oh, that sounds really, really similar to something else that we might do.
Exactly, right? Because until we really know who you are outside of work, it's inevitable that that's going to bleed into work. We don't know you as a professional yet. So it absolutely overlaps.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So my next question.
Yep.
So coaching is really big right now. The landscape is really cluttered with folks, and it's hard to differentiate, right? Like, no, I'm different. Here's what I do. But you do bring something different, and we touched on it. The clinical training as an LCSW, but also the experience as a business owner, which in and of itself can be harrowing. And having spent 20 years building the business that you have today, it's not all been smooth sailing. There has been crazy volatility in the market over the last 20 years. How does that combination of experience shape the way that you coach?
It really, to me, it's the perfect combination, right? Because I've been a leader, but I've also been completely on my own. And so I can come at it from a place of both, right, lenses and say, to be a leader, this is what it has taken to be successful. This is what people respond to. This is how you're going to maintain your staff. Being that business owner and coming from a place of, again, being by myself at first, then bringing on one person, then two people, then three people, then four people, really allows me to show people that this is what works and this is what doesn't work. So that's very helpful. And so I have that experience to be able to say what has worked and what hasn't worked. And it never works from the beginning, right? You always fail before you succeed. And so I had several failures working up my business and making that come into succession. But it took time, but my clinical training is really what I believe is super impactful, because that is not something that every coach has. It's gotten to a point where lots of people call themselves coaches, and that's okay, and coaches are important, but there's something different having a clinical background and being a coach. You come at it from a different perspective. It's a mental health perspective that meets the person where they are at, truly where they're at, and that's very important, because you have to know where they're at in order to help them grow, and not come in and just say, my goal is to get you to the next level or hit your numbers or, bump you up to the next salary level. But my goal is to help you figure out how to be the best person and professional that you can be. And it's impossible to do that unless I get to know you in a capacity that allows me to know you clinically as well.
I love that. And full disclosure, again, to the 17 listeners on YouTube, I mean, you and I met back in 2013 when I was pregnant with my first baby. I was experiencing some really significant health issues, and I wasn't able to show up the way that I wanted. And that's when I found you and we connected. And in the beginning, it was really working through those issues, those health issues. But probably as we got a little further out, it transitioned.
It did.
I remember when I met you, I was just a little baby. I was a total hippie with that middle part and that super long hair.
Yes. The long hair.
Yes. And I think I was a financial planning and analysis analyst at a wholly owned affiliate for GE, just a scrappy little nobody, right? And we've walked that path together for the last however long. And for me, the relationship has been revolutionary, right? I look around and I'm like, yeah, no, it's been such a guiding light. And almost every time we meet, that's the discussion. What's going on in the business, how things can be propelled forward. There's a lot of also disruption during that growth cycle. And so what I see, we work a lot together on mutual clients as well, right? Because a lot of the clients that I work with are usually in high growth mode, or there is a transition from one generation to another. And when you're talking about those situations, sometimes it can be a volatile or unsettling environment, especially for existing leaders that are growing, right? They're evolving into the highest level role they've ever held, and often will find a way to work together because folks are in need of coaching to help solidify those skill sets and also navigate some of the white noise that comes with stepping up. And, obviously we've got so many great resources in the Tampa Bay area. It really does depend on what you need. But when that's the situation where we've got that full-bodied experience, it's not just sort of sniper, like isolating this and taking that out. You're who I call, right? You're who I call.
Yeah, thank you. It's if someone is struggling at work or even wanting to level up at work, I don't think I've ever come across a client that isn't also struggling to level up at home in some way or another, right? And so it's just all interconnected. And that's why the trust is so important, because you're letting me into your life. You're letting me into your vulnerabilities. How lucky am I that I get to walk alongside you while you are discovering how amazing you are?
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so incredible. But do you ever fire people? Like, do you ever have people that come in and you're like, I can't sit across from you with a straight face and say those things. So we're just gonna.
I'm pretty stubborn. So if we're not connecting, I'm going to do my best to connect, but I also will let you know if it's not the right fit, of course, because ultimately it needs to be what's best for the client. But I'm pretty stubborn, and I usually want to make it work.
But you do have a stable of folks, right? It's not just you. You're not a solopreneur. You didn't just hang a shingle. You have built a legitimate practice. How many folks do you have?
8 to 9.
8 to 9.
I think we're at 9 now. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I know everybody has a different specialty.
And that's I love the eclectic nature that everybody brings. Everyone has a different area of specialty. Yes.
But other business coaches in the stable as well. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Sure. People who are wanting to develop that skill more as well.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So what would you say, this isn't on my list, but of course we'll discuss it. What would you say some things are, if there are so many choices out there and someone is interested in finding a coach either for themselves or for their team, what should they be looking for?
Yeah, it should be an interview process. You should be interviewing that coach. If you're walking in uncomfortable, that's normal, right? I expect you to walk in and be a little bit nervous and not really know what to expect. But I also expect you to be interviewing me. I really do. And ask me the hard questions and test me. I want to be tested. I want to know that you want to take this seriously. And if you're really taking it seriously, you want to make sure I'm the right person for you. So walking in to any potential coach that you might be working with, and providing examples, right? Real world life examples that are happening. See how that coach responds, right? How does that coach immediately, what kind of feedback does that coach give you in the moment? Most of the time, coaches feel like they need to impress that client to get that client to come on board. I don't want to impress you. I just want you to feel comfortable. Once you feel comfortable, and I know that we can build that connection, we can dive as deep as you're willing to go.
I think that's fantastic, because what I've noticed with you, tell me if you disagree.
Okay.
You do not just give the answers. So sometimes I'll have an aha moment, or, just something comes together and I'll look at you and say, how long have you known that? Right? Like, how long have you known that? And you'll give me a knowing smile and be like, well, it's been a while. She knew 7 years ago, right? Like, she knew 7 years ago. But you don't always just give the answer. Right. If there's a direct question, I think you'll provide really great guidance, background, a couple of options. But it's never, this is what you need to do, exactly how you need to do it, now go.
Exactly. You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it, right? nobody responds well to being told what to do. I mean, I guess there are some people that want to be told what to do, but most of the time, people don't really want to be told what to do. And to truly be an effective coach, you want to get your client there on their own. That's my goal. I want you to have the aha, the epiphany, this is all coming together. I want to give you an example that you feel like you can resonate with, right? That you're like, I remember having a situation like that at work. That could apply to me too, as opposed to me saying, you need to do this differently. And most of the time, people are much more receptive to that kind of approach.
I think when you're telling, to be clear, there are sometimes I just want to be told.
Sure.
Right? There are so many things, just tell me. But I think for the super deep, meaningful, not so much the tactical, the more philosophical, you do need that time for things to come together. And I think about building a house, when you're pouring that foundation, you don't pour it and then immediately start building on it. It has to come together. It has to cure. The whole process iterates, and one step cannot happen until the other is complete. And so when I think about the journey, the process, that's really what I see in my mind.
It is the process.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. And I know what that process looks like. You might not. I know what the process looks like, but I'm taking my time to walk you through it.
Well, yes, I imagine, right? So whenever you've done something long enough, you start to read the wind, and you can tell almost immediately, okay, this is what it's going to be. This is how this is going to shake out. Yes. So I imagine for you, there are aha moments as well.
Sure.
When someone is being a little bit more reserved, it's taking them longer to unbutton their blazer and, really loosen their tie and have that open conversation.
Sure.
But when you're getting the right things, it all comes together.
It all comes together. And you have to know when the time is right to bring up certain topics too. You have to know that you've established that kind of rapport to be able to say, let's go here. It's time to go here. And there's a sweet spot for that.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, so next up, common themes. When you're working with business owners and leadership teams, what challenges come up most often?
Usually interpersonal challenges, I would say, come up most often.
Yes.
For sure. How do I handle this employee? How do I work with this coworker that I really don't like? How do I handle my boss that actually treats me really poorly? So usually interpersonal relationships come up. And again, if you're having some kind of interpersonal relationship difficulty at work, I usually can draw that parallel somewhere into your personal life. And so that's where that comes together. But I would say, for sure, those interpersonal relationships are one of the biggest challenges that come up.
That makes total sense, doesn't it? And then also the timing of the passion around coaching and the abundance of folks that we have out there and the focus on self-improvement. Because back in the day, if we were standing on the line assembling the vehicle, right, there were fewer opportunities to have those issues. Yeah. Now the market has shifted. We're not in the midst of the Great Depression. There are lots of opportunities, and many organizations are competing for that top-tier talent. And again, as I said, it's not just the expertise, it's also that chemistry.
Yes.
And it's the same thing for the team member. We want our team members to be invested. We want them to be dialed in. We want them to be happy. We want them to be learning. We want them to grow. And that's not teaching them how to do a VLOOKUP in most cases, right? It's helping develop them from whatever point they're coming in to whatever point ultimately they're best served at.
Sure.
And that, in my mind, is all that kind of growth.
All of it, right? I usually tell my clients, I say, you spend more time at work with these people than you do usually with your own family. I mean, you are spending a significant amount of time with these people. So we really need to figure out, the best way for you to not feel like, ugh, I'm going to this job every day, because that will wear you down, and it will not wear well on you being a professional that you want to be. That just won't.
Yes, 100%. I mean, I want to say I've worked with such incredible folks, and there was a group in particular that you worked with. And in the beginning, I think maybe we had 3 or 4 that were in the process, in the program. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, the vibe was a little dark. It was a little heavy. Yeah. And almost everything was a conflict as we were introducing change. And then at a certain point, something shifted a few months in. And the responses to some of the changes were much more positive, and folks were embracing and then really started running ahead, which was great because facilitating change is hard just by itself. But if you're contending with, I'm not comfortable with it, I'm not sure how to be successful, all of those things, they have to be addressed.
They have to be addressed, and they have to want to talk about them, but they also want to feel heard. Most people want to feel heard, and most people feel like they can't be heard in the work environment. They're worried about being heard. They're worried about ruining some kind of relationship or being judged in some way. And so if you can share with your coach how you're really feeling about that, so you can be heard, and I can say to you, totally understandable, completely normal for you to feel that way. Let's work through how to get you through that. That is such a better feeling than I just have to do it. I just have to suck it up and figure it out. And nobody wants to be in that position.
I think 100% yes. At least folks of a certain age, It was a pleasure and a privilege just to have a job, right? How dare you have needs that go along with that?
Exactly.
How dare you want to be happy?
Sure.
So I think really understanding what it is that you as a person needs to thrive, grow, prosper, all of those things is critically important, because if you don't understand what you yourself need,
Sure.
you're not going to be able to help create the right circumstances to get what you need.
To get there. Yes. Especially folks that are working in industries where a lot of younger people are coming in, right? And you've been there for a really long time and you are good at what you do, but now you're starting to doubt yourself, right?
No.
Oh, I see it all the time. This hot young grad just came over and afraid of, taking my position or my spot, and really needing to remind them that, you are the experienced one.
Yes.
You are the one with the knowledge, right? And making sure their self-esteem and self-worth remain high, even though they're feeling a little maybe threatened by some of those colleagues that are coming in as well.
I can see it. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. I love the multi-generational workforce. Yes. Have you seen the memes where it's like, what are you doing this Saturday? And the 25-year-old's like, well, I'm going to Linda's 59th birthday party, right? Because they're colleagues and they've become really good friends. Yes. I absolutely love it. But I never thought about it from a perspective of feeling threatened. No, because on the real, right? Yeah. Education is great. Sure. There is no substitute for time in the seat.
There isn't.
Right? Like, you've driven one stick shift like 2 times. Okay, great. Sure. But you've driven 100 over a 30-year period. All right. Yep. You probably know just how to work that clutch, just how to move that stick.
Exactly.
I mean, the babies, they want to learn and grow and gain that knowledge.
Yes. And they're looking up to you, right? They're looking up to you. So don't be threatened by them. Just, you have to remember that this is your expertise, and you're just an example for them to strive to be like.
Yes, and invite all of them to your birthday party.
Absolutely. Yes.
We'll tell you the things that I've learned just from people that are even like 5 or 10 years younger than me. There was a time where I was screenshotting my boarding passes, and then one of my younger colleagues said, hey, did you know? And he showed it to me. I was like, oh my God, Gino, that's amazing.
Amazing.
Yes. What else can you tell
me more?
Yes. How do I work that navigation? So can you share a breakthrough story where coaching shifted a leader or a team?
Sure. Yeah. I work with a lot of individuals that are wanting to work their way up, but I also work with a lot of medical professionals.
Do you really?
I do. Yeah. So, for example, emergency room doctors, anesthesiologists, really people who are in very high stress positions that I think people think they just need to have it together all the time, right? I mean, they're dealing with lots of very intense situations, whether it's keeping somebody alive or bringing someone back to life. And the expectation is keep it together, stay focused, don't have any kind of mental or emotional reaction, right? And if you do, you're not good at your job. And so I would say the work that I've done, particularly with professionals in the medical field, really has been powerful to help them see that they are more than capable of what they're doing, and their training has taught them exactly what they need to do, but also humanizing that what they're doing, they're still human. Every single day that they walk into that emergency room, they're human. If a patient, God forbid, passes away on their watch, they're going to take that home, and they don't just go to sleep that night, And so, for example, I had one doctor who would say to me, I can't sleep. I can't get to bed, and it's affecting me, and people are noticing. And it's not, again, that he was coming in, he wasn't coming in for mental health support. He was coming in to be a better doctor. How do I show up better? And I said, just because you're bringing it home with you doesn't mean you're not a fantastic doctor. It means you're human. So a lot of the medical people that I have worked with it's an example of helping them see that they can be extremely professional, excellent at what they do, but also honoring that they're just human. And I think it takes some of the pressure off of them, and then it allows them to perform to their best of their ability. That's just one example.
It's so interesting. It really is, because I imagine, tell me if I'm close.
Sure.
I imagine that no one else has an expectation of that physician to lose a patient and not have some type of emotional response. Right? So I had read an article years ago from, Harvard Business Review, and it focused on insecure overachievers.
Sure.
And I was, as Reagan would say, I was offensed. I was so offended when I read it, because I related to so many of the things that they called out, these traits that drive people to overachieve, as it were, and then see a lot of professional success as a result of that.
Sure.
And I think a lot of times those folks truly are expecting something that no one else is expecting.
Exactly.
And unwilling, unrelenting, and even the consideration of cutting themselves some slack. Not saying don't do your best, right? Do the best that you can, do the best that you're willing to do, run the fastest, the cleanest possible.
Right.
But when things do happen, do not, I don't know what the right word is, but do not be so mean to yourself.
Yeah. And part of that coaching piece is learning how to have empathy with yourself, right? Really learning to give yourself that grace. I mean, I don't want to go into surgery with an anesthesiologist that isn't feeling good about themselves, right? I want someone who feels good about themselves in that room. But I don't expect them to be perfect. I also know the person sitting next to me keeping me alive as a human. So, I think that so much of the coaching experience has to do with coming back to making sure that people stay connected to themselves, that they really know who they are, that they don't deviate from who they are, and they learn how to deal with people with true empathy and connectedness. That's really the heart of the coaching experience.
I love it. It seems like it's all logical, right? You could write a math equation about it. I mean, it's just, there's this formula.
It's a formula.
But you have to alter the formula slightly depending on the nuance in the situation and the personality of the person that you're working with.
Absolutely. And that, the personality piece is important, and helping them understand how their personality impacts other people is important. I'm not trying to change your personality. You are who you are, and you were hired for who you are. So let's just figure out how to use your personality to the best of your ability, and make sure that when you come across somebody that maybe it doesn't match as well with, you know how to have empathy towards that person and back up if you need to.
And then how do you hold them accountable, right? For those things, those discoveries that have been made along the way.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, good question. We talk a lot about goals. We talk a lot about, specific examples of situations that are happening within the workplace. And they know next time we talk, I'm going to be bringing that back up because I want to know how that went. I handle things a little bit differently as a coach. I'm not just your, I'll see you for an hour, and then we'll come back again next week. I make myself available to you. I don't expect a problem that happens on a Tuesday to wait until next Friday to figure out how to make that work. So if you need to email me, or you need to set up a call, or we need to work through that, we're going to do that in the moment. We're going to figure that out, because I'm not helpful to you if it happened a week ago. I need to be helping you more in the moment. And so a lot of it is letting them know that there's no excuses here, right? I am here to help you, but I'm also available to you. So use me and let me help you.
Not like an on-call physician, right? Not 911.
Not 911.
But again, I know we've got some overlap. Yeah. And I know that someone did text you one day and they said, Mayday! And it was a Saturday. That person may have been in their pajamas and heels driving home from something quite exciting. And I think you called
Absolutely.
like within the hour.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, life doesn't stop because it's a Saturday, right? Like businesses don't stop because it's a Saturday. Crises don't stop because it's a Sunday morning. And I appreciate that. And I think my clients and the people that I work with, none of them have ever taken advantage of that, right? If they're reaching out to me on a Saturday or a Sunday or 10 o'clock at night, God forbid, for another reason, there's something really wrong that they need to work through. They're really, really struggling, and it's my job to be there to support them.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for that. I think that's the Caddie piece of it too, right? Like that's that full-bodied experience that some of us appreciate so much.
Yes. It's not so transactional. It's much more personal than that.
So it's all about the partnership is what you're saying.
Yes, and you say it perfectly. It's about the partnership.
Focus on the relationships.
Focus on those relationships. That's right.
So you've built this incredible practice. And I talked about, there's been volatility in the market over the last 20 years that you've had this practice. But there's been a huge disruption, totally off script now.
Got it.
There's been a huge disruption in the last couple of years. And it's like me and my good old friend, my best friend, it's me and ChatGPT, right? Okay. So I know sometimes for me, people will, I want to say respectfully, people will sometimes minimize some of the impact of the things that we're able to do. Like, oh, well, no, I can just, I can run it through this or I can run it through that. And it's like, oh, okay. And now I see that you're in the midst of an IRS audit, right? Because that one thing that you hung your hat on, there was a slight nuance associated with that changed the context completely. And the position that you asserted is now invalidated, right? So I do myself lean on ChatGPT sometimes, and I know that you know that.
I do know that.
But have you seen any sort of disruption in your business, like folks that are, well, it's just going to be me and ChatGPT from now on? And also maybe like what are some of the concerns that you might have with that?
Sure. Oh, gosh, we could talk about this for hours.
Well, let me check my time.
Yeah, check your time.
Okay, go ahead on. You're good. The espresso martini will wait.
It's an amazing tool. Let's start there. It's an amazing tool. It also can be an incredibly dangerous tool, right? Just like really any electronic device, it can be amazing and dangerous. I have clients who openly tell me they use ChatGPT in between our sessions, right, to kind of like get them to the next, through the next crisis, if you will.
They're taking a hit.
Exactly, yes. And listen, if talking it out in that way is helpful, wonderful. What's concerning oftentimes, though, is what's coming back on the other end. You're talking to a robot, right? And the heart, like we just talked about, of coaching and therapy is a person, a relationship, someone who's sitting across from you, looking you in the eye, knowing if they've hit that point that's, ooh, I've just touched a nerve, or, oh, I need to go back to that. There's no, ChatGPT is not looking at you, nor do they care what your body language looks like. And we are seeing really disturbing things happening actually with adults and teenagers that are turning to AI for very personal questions because they feel embarrassed talking about those things. And they're being led down a really scary path. And so that's scary for me. It's scary when I hear that.
It's interesting because when it first came out, it was like, oh my gosh, right? Like you can totally zhuzh my press release or you can, but I think what's most concerning is right now in many cases, these tools, the machine, there's a lack of agency, as it were.
Right.
So it tends to be highly deferential and not deferential.
Right.
And in that person who's prompting its favor. And it seems like it can justify or reconcile almost anything that you propose. And it's like, okay, that's ludicrous. Mm-hmm. Let's pull back. Mm-hmm. Do you know that makes no sense at all? And I think when we're talking about, big things, especially with vulnerable folks, that can be incredibly problematic.
Absolutely.
There will be a day where there is more agency, right? Sure. Perhaps maybe there's a video component that's evaluating nonverbal cues.
Sure.
But I feel the same way as you, truly, in that I don't even care to do a board meeting virtually. I feel like I need to be in the room
the room.
breathe the same air. I can see if something doesn't land properly.
Sure.
I can give a little tap, or I can go back and revisit it.
Sure.
So there's so many wonderful things that you can pull from it, but to use it unilaterally as a replacement, because I know with you, like there are things I could say to you and you would say, you've lost your mind. Like that 100% no. What is it?
We're not going to do that.
Yes. Justin Bieber was like, immediately no. Immediately no.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, right. There's no constructive feedback or criticism, right, that's coming from that at all. It's usually always geared towards what you want to hear. And okay, if you need that, you need in that moment, but that is also not helpful for helping anybody grow. No.
It's really not. No. So there are some good things, right, that can be leaned on,
sure.
I'm sure, as a professional, even just to bounce a couple of things off. Sure. But would you say proceed tentatively, proceed with caution?
Caution. Yeah. Absolutely. Proceed with caution. And I will even tell, my clients, talk to it, write it down, and then let's talk about what the answer was and why we agree or why we disagree with it. So use it as a tool, but also use it almost like a journal prompt, right? Yes. That will get you thinking more about, do I agree with this answer? Instead of just immediately agreeing with it. Do I really agree with this? Do I really see it that way? What if I looked at it from a different perspective? So bring it into our session. Let's hear what ChatGPT had to say. Let's analyze it and talk about if it was actually good advice or not.
I love that. I mean, again, growing up in the 80s, like writing a paper, it was a blank piece of paper. Do you know you'd start with nothing and then you'd pour your thoughts and your heart out, and then you'd wait a couple of days, go back and edit it, right? So for me, it's a tool that I use to speed up the process.
Absolutely.
But for me, it doesn't replace anything.
Sure.
It's my thought. It's like roughing it out in a draft or an outline form. It's drawing my own conclusions, right? Yeah. Running it through, like zhuzhing it, really.
Sure.
And then adjusting it again because it's never perfect. But I mean, I'm thinking in so many cases, I really did. I had a gentleman, he's like, aren't you worried? You just bought this tax firm, you spent all this money, and like your job is going to be completely replaced. And I actually laughed out loud.
Wow.
I was like, that's adorable, right? Like there are definite efficiencies that people can garner, and there's additional knowledge and education. Yeah. But I'm not worried today about being replaced. Definitely like maybe a 1040 return, where there's a W-2 and a 1099, you don't need a CPA for assistance with that.
I'll tell you, it has a hard time even adding numbers. I mean, I was testing it out on my second grader's homework. I was like, let's just put these numbers in and see what happens. It was wrong. They did not add the numbers right. I'm like, okay, this is a
Blakey's homework?
Yes, this is not okay. Like the fact that we can't even add the numbers correct, but yet we're going to give major advice about how to move forward in your professional business. Come on, let's take a step back for a minute.
Chica, I can't with you. I can't with you. So off script. Practical takeaways.
Got it.
So for leaders that are listening today who feel like they're carrying it all on their own, and I bet you've never seen that before.
Never.
You've never seen a high-performing like entrepreneur, CEO just try to put
take it all on.
Yes.
No.
What's a good first step they could take to explore coaching in a meaningful way?
Sure. Well, I go back to interview your coaches. Don't just interview one, interview several, and look at it as a tool. This is a tool for me to really explore who I am as a person and to level up. I look at coaching as leveling up. And so find that person that you believe can help you level up and interview them. Really take the time to get to know them and then make that decision on whether or not you think you can connect with that person. And like I said, throw out some examples, some real examples. How would you guide me on something like this, right? What would your perspective be if this happened? How would you suggest that a conversation would go down if I want to bring this up with my superior? And see how they answer those questions. Put them on the spot because they work for you, we work for you, but it needs to be the right fit.
I love it. So like a Google search, case studies, like a referral from a friend, like...
Yeah, I mean, most of my clients come from direct referrals, and that's the best compliment, right? If anybody ever calls me and says, so-and-so gave me your name, I mean, that's the best, better than any Google review. So yes, you go online, certainly, and look people up, but also look at their background. What makes them a coach? Is it just the word coach? What's their background? What brought them to the place of making them truly be a coach? And what part is about their education, their true education and their training has brought them to a place where they are leveled up enough to help you level up?
Yes, I love it. I really do. So don't just take someone else's word for it, is what you're saying, right? Even if someone worked beautifully for your best friend, when you interview them, they may not be the right person for you. No. And don't just settle, right? Don't take the first thing that's available. One is not the same as the next. Right. And do your homework.
Do your homework.
Yes.
Do your homework and keep going, right? Don't just meet with one and think, oh, I knew this wasn't going to work for me. Find somebody else, because there is somebody out there that you will connect with.
Well, there are different types of Italian food, right?
Sure.
There's northern, there's southern, there's coastal. I mean, all the things. Yes. Then we get to the Sicilians.
Yes, that's right. Absolutely. It has to be the right flavor.
Is there anything that you want to share with the people that we haven't touched on? Off script again, she says, Jesus, what are you doing to me? Yes. So to recap, we've introduced yourself. We've talked about your credentials. We've talked about why leaders need coaches, common themes that you've seen. We've talked about lessons from your own business, red flags, green flags, all of the things, AI even.
Yeah. I think the biggest takeaway really is knowing that coming in for coaching or therapy is just a way for you to be a better person, period. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing I have to fix. You're not broken. It's just a way for me to help you level up. And anybody who truly wants to succeed could benefit from an educated coach to help them level up.
So, like, we talked about some real life examples. Mm-hmm. And so I was that little baby senior financial analyst. Yeah. And then, I don't know, probably 2 years in, I moved into an assistant controller role, right?
Yeah.
And then controller, and then director of finance and accounting, and then CFO, and then launched my business, and then bought a business. Were you there for all of that?
I was.
Yes.
I was. Yes. And it was amazing to see. It was amazing to see your evolution, truly.
Thank you so much. But I had been myself for 35 years and nothing had happened, right? It was really when I focused on developing to that next stage, that next level, that it was like I could see the code in the matrix and we knew what was next and what needed to happen. And even at awards shows, right? Like TBBW, you're at that table and cheering along. And guess what? She's going to be at another table and we're going to be cheering along because aren't you a TBBW 2025 Apogee finalist?
I am.
And is it for like founder small business?
It is founder for a small business. What an honor.
I mean, snaps to TBBW and Bridget Bello for developing.
Amazing.
Incredible program. And to you, because you have quietly done such incredible work in our community for so long. It is such a treat to see you get to stand and bask in that light. So congratulations on all of your success. It is so well deserved.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And if people want to get in touch with you, if they see you and they say, oh, goodness, she doesn't have the dirty curl. Look at that red hair. I love the way she talks. She's got proven success. And they want to get in touch with you.
Sure.
What do they do?
Yeah, they can go to my website, which is protherapyplus.com. They can email me directly, which is erica@protherapyplus.com. Or they can call me as well, which is all on the web as well.
Okay.
I will reach out to you any way you prefer.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming and spending time with us today. It has been truly an honor and a privilege.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and thank you so much for tuning in to Talk Nerdy to Me, an entrepreneur's financial guide, or I should say the podcast formerly known as Talk Nerdy to Me. Stand by for our new name. It's currently being trademarked right now.
I love it.
And please tune in next time. Thanks so much.
Thank you.